Welcome to you all. I'm not sure in which time zone you are, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever suits you. Thank you very much for being part of this very special webinar that we're hosting today. Let me first of all introduce our guest. We have Mr. Abdulla Ahmed AlShehhi, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Dubai Cares. For many of you who would have known Dubai Cares earlier, you don't need an introduction, but for our participants who are not from UAE and who may not have heard of Dubai Cares, Mr. Abdullah, let me introduce him. So thank you very much, Mr. Abdullah, and he'll be joining us very soon, immediately after I introduce him. Mr. Abdullah holds a senior strategic role as the Chief Operating Officer with Dubai Cares. In his current position, Mr. Abdullah oversees the management of projects undertaken by different departments within the organization to ensure the efficient and effective delivery of all the operations. His responsibilities include supporting the fundraising process and evaluating the performance and impact of implemented programs to achieve all those desired outcomes. Beyond all these responsibilities that he takes, Mr. Abdullah also directs the communication department across Dubai Cares, as well as the community engagement function. And this responsibility involves supervising implementation of community engagement initiatives, both locally within UAE and globally. And you'll hear a lot of that during his presentation today. And being a seasoned member of Dubai Cares, Mr. Abdullah also supports the development of talent. And there's a lot of talent involved from different age groups and from different nationalities. So he supports the development of talent using his expertise in coaching and mentoring teams as well. Mr. Abdullah stepped into his current role of being the Chief Operating Officer following 3 years as Director of Business Support for Dubai Cares, during which he directed and managed the business support functions, including administrative, IT, procurement, donation boxes, etc. In addition, his responsibilities included developing the annual budget of the operations department and managing processes to ensure timely budget reporting. And before joining Dubai Cares, Mr. Abdullah contributed more than 15 years of key managerial and project management expertise across various UAE-based corporates, such as Abu Dhabi companies for ADCO, which is the Abu Dhabi company for onshore oil operations, and also for Dubai Properties Group. So he surely brings a valuable experience participating in global and regional conferences such as the United Nations General Assembly in New York and the International Volunteer Cooperation Organization conferences in Singapore, etc. Mr. Abdullah also holds a higher diploma in Applied Electronics and Computer System from Higher College of Technology. So that's a bit of our special speaker and guest for today's webinar. But apart from that, he's also been, in fact, Dubai Cares, we have been part of Dubai Cares, participating in their flagship program called Walk for Education every year since 2014. And we have had very good experience participating in those events. Our students and staff or employees of Westford University College who have been participating in that event every year, where we walk for education, standing by the difficulties and challenges faced by millions of students going to school, walking miles, 10 to 15 miles every day to reach their school. So we, in solidarity, stand by them, walk for education every year. And we have, thank you very much, Dubai Cares and Mr. Abdullah, for touching our lives. We have genuinely learned and stayed inspired by the noble work that you do. Without taking any more time, let me also, before I welcome Mr. Abdullah, to the participants, please, there is a public chat that you can see, but for the Q&A, the questions that you want to ask Mr. Abdullah, you can post in the Q&A tab that you see on your top right. And then after Mr. Abdullah's presentation, we will take the questions and he'll be more than happy to answer your questions. So please enjoy this webinar. Ask as many questions that as you can. And thank you very much for sparing your time to be part of this webinar. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Mr. Abdullah for Abdulla Ahmed AlShehhi, the Chief Operating Officer of Dubai Cares, to come on board and enlighten us, inspire us with his talk. You're welcome, Mr. Abdullah.
So thank you so much, Mr. Zawahar, for the introductory, and I'm very pleased to be here with you and with all the participants from Westford University. Thank you so much for hosting me today, and I'm going to start my presentation with giving you some brief about Dubai Cares, and later some snapshot of what we have done in response to the current pandemic of COVID-19. So I will start with the presentation right now. First of all, for those who don't know about Dubai Cares, I'm going to just run quickly some information about Dubai Cares. We have been founded by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum back in 2007 with the aim of providing children and youth with access to education. It was driven from his belief that education is the most important and most effective tool to break the cycle of poverty. And at that point of time, he had give us a target of 1 million beneficiaries. So what we do actually is more about giving access to quality education through design, funding of programmatic that aim to be integrated. It's very important to be integrated, where it should be a holistic approach and impactful as well. And the most important one is sustainable and scalable. Sustainable is very important because we are going to be there for a year, 2 or 3 years maximum. Then we're going to leave that country and leave that community, and the community should be able to sustain the program that we are working on. So that's why we are trying to design programs in such a manner. So our global footprint is, as been shown in the map, we have reached to 20 million beneficiaries. Since 2007, the target was only 1 million, but we are able to reach to 20 million beneficiaries as well in 59 countries across the globe. And you can see from the map, we are from in Asia, we are in Africa, we have reached to Latin America as well in terms of our programmatic intervention. So what we are focusing in Dubai Cares, we're focusing on ensuring is on SDG number 4, which is a Sustainable Development Goal number 4. Back in 2015, it has been changed to a Sustainable Development Goal. It started with the Millennium Development Goal back in 2000, but in 2015, the United Nations community has joined again to set a sustainable development goal, and there were about 17 goals, and we have focusing on the 4th one, which is ensure inclusive and equitable quality education, promote lifelong learning opportunities. So what we are targeting is we are giving access to all education, all students, regardless to where they are and what they are doing. And this is what we do through a different programmatic or programs that we are doing in developing countries. In terms of partnership, this is a snapshot of some of our key partners that we partner with in order to deliver our programs. So we have a lot of them are United Nations organization, international organization, and sometimes we also partner with local-based organization to deliver on our project. And all those partners should have been very well experienced in terms of the country and also the topic that we are partnering with. In terms of our programmatic approach, we focus on 2 different areas. One of them is access to education, and the other one is quality of education. And a cross-cutting theme, we do a lot of monitoring, evaluation, and learning approach on all of our projects. as well as we are doing a lot of advocacy and research. So I want to start with giving examples of some of the access to education programs that we do is infrastructure, which is providing safe and conducive school environment that we do by building a school or providing furnitures to the teachers or the students as well, making sure that all the facilities are safe for the children to come and study in those schools. Another one is the water and sanitation, what we call it wash in the school, the water sanitation hygiene in school. Many of those communities, they travel miles and miles just to go to get water for their family. And what we are trying to do is to hit two birds in one stone. So we're asking the community, the students to come to the schools to study, and at the same time, they will be able to have an opportunity and access to a safe and clean water inside the school. In addition to that, latrine has been a big issue also in those schools that we are building. We have found that a lot of schools, they were only built and equipped with only classrooms without latrine facilities, which become one of the main barriers where girls especially do not go to school after a certain age, because they cannot share the same latrine facilities with the other boys. So what we do is to build gender-specific latrine in those schools across our programs. Another important factor is the school-based deworming, because it is very important to deworm those children in order to build their mental and cognitive abilities as well. There's no point of sending children to school and they are like empty stomachs. So sometimes also we provide school-based feeding programs as well inside the school, which is the next slide. We're focusing on a lot of giving them some nutritious meals inside the school. And we do that through different methods, either by hot kitchens, or we call them, where we ask the parents or certain community members to come and cook for their kids, and we provide everything for them. Or we provide them with some nutritious bars and energy bars as well to be distributed in those schools. When it comes to quality of education, we focus a lot on teacher training and capacity building. It's a very important factor, because if you provide the most developed infrastructure facilities and the water facilities and the most delicious food, but you fail to prepare a teacher who can pass the correct information to those students, we have not gonna do anything. So that's why teacher training and building their capacity is a very important tool or factor within our programmatic intervention. Curriculum development also is something very much important. We're always trying to work with the local community, the local ministries and authorities to update their curriculums to make sure they are up to speed and up to the international development as well. Literacy and numeracy enhancement, that's a very important as well in terms of what we do, we evaluate the literacy and numeracy level from time to time, and especially after like a year or two from getting those information in the school. We measure that, and it's one of the most important measuring tools that we focus in Dubai Cares. Early childhood development, or what we used to call it ECD, it's where we focus on the children development, which is the KG or pre-KG period of their studies. A lot of schooling system they don't have ECD education or ECD development, and this is something that we are introducing to the most of our programs and countries that we're working on. Youth empowerment is something also we're focusing a lot, and especially when it comes to youth preparation for the work task and workforce as well. So we do a lot of programs that focus on youth empowerment, entrepreneurship, and giving them some basic tools how they can do and run their own business in the future as well. Other focus area and cross-cutting theme. One of the most important activities that we do recently is education and emergency. Of course, the UAE is not far away from any pandemic or any crisis or any emergency happening around the world, and we always be there in support of such activities. And that's why we do a lot of education and emergency programs to give back the sense of normalcy to those children who has been affected by any crisis or any emergency. Gender equality also is another cross-cutting theme. We always make sure that in all our programs that there is a gender equality when it comes to giving access to girls or boys to our programs and education, especially in some part of countries that that girls are not given the same opportunity when it comes to education other than the boys, and in some other places the other way around, where the boys are not given the opportunity of going to school and get educated, but rather than going and helping in the field or going to the market, just trying to support the family as well. Monitoring, evaluation, and learning, and this is something very much important when it comes to Dubai Cares, because we always wanted to make sure that our programs are working. It has been evaluated. If there's something did not go right as per the plan, we always do that continuous feedback and monitoring to see what are the shortfalls in case of any, and also trying to develop it and learn from any programs that we do, and disseminate all those learning to the education or global community as well. So we do that through our conferences, through the paper that we publish, and any other means of communication as well. Research-oriented programs. This is linked to the learning and disseminating of information. Also, it's very important that we do programs based on research, which is not a lot of organization focus on piloting or researching a new program in terms of development field. So we are in Dubai Cares, we have a lot of programs that focus on research, especially when it comes to the new ideas and new programs as well. Here I would like to give a quick snapshot on Dubai Care's response to COVID-19. We have been in support of this pandemic since its beginning. Just to let you know that there is almost 1 billion learners out of school has been affected because of COVID-19 pandemic in 109 countries across the globe. So we as Dubai Cares, and according to the UNESCO, we have been partnering with UNESCO's Global Education Coalition, which is a multi-sector partnership and aims to ensure that learning is not disrupted as a result of this pandemic. So this is one of the international platforms that we have been partnering with to provide children with access to education even during the pandemic. Also, there is a project called GIGA, which is GIGA. It's an initiative from UNICEF. It's under Generation Unlimited. This is an international initiative which focuses on giving opportunities and funds for young people, especially youth, to particularly focus on those greater dangers who are left behind, including girls, tourists, and disabilities, and young people on the move who has been affected by crisis or conflict or disaster. So we as Dubai Cares are part of Generation Unlimited initiative, and this year the board of directors of Generation Unlimited has had a meeting, and they dedicated their effort for this year to come up with an international mechanism to give connectivity to everybody who are suffering from the pandemic. During the pandemic, we have learned the importance of online connectivity, especially when it comes to remote learning and online learning as well. So for this one, we have partnered with International Communication Union, ITU, alongside with a lot of heads of state from Africa, from Europe, from Central Asia, the Caribbean as well, to launch this initiative. And the main objectives of this initiative is to find, map out, and connect every school in the world to the internet. And this is a very high-scale program that we are aiming to implement, inshallah, with the support of the local and the international community. The last initiative that we had partnered with also in regard to the pandemic is the UNESCO's qualification passport. This is a new mechanism where UNESCO had launched a qualification passport to support the refugees, the migrants who had left or fled from their house, from their countries, and went to a new country without their paperwork or their higher education certificates. So this is a qualification-based passport where the refugees has to apply for it, and there are some certain of questions and answers as well, where he has to answer, and according to the answers, he will get more certificate, and with that certificate, it can be he can be employed and being recognized as a workforce in this country. And we have piloted this program in Iraq and in Colombia as well. Moving forward, we would like to touch base on something called Rewired. It's a new way to communicate, to rethink the global education. It's an initiative by Dubai Cares when it comes where we wanted to we wanted to have to join everybody who's related to education sector to one focus on education financing, two innovation in education, and the last one is youth skill and the future of education. Those are the topics of the summit. It will be hosted in Expo 2020, which is happening hopefully next year. And Rewired is very much in partnership with Expo 2020, alongside with the Ministry of the MOFAIC, which is the Ministry of International Cooperation and Humanity as well, Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of the UAE. It will be a global summit on education where we are targeting heads of states, leaders in education to join every single meeting with platform, to join on one table to rethink about how can we better finance education, how we can give more innovation ideas on education, and the most important is the role of youth skills in the future of education. So this is going to happen in 2020, but before that, there will be a series of initiatives as well related to Rewire. So stay tuned, and we will be announcing very much in the future some of the new initiative on this one. On a final topic, I would like to give some examples of community engagement. This is where Mr. Zuhair has started the talk with our flagship community engagement activity, the Walk for Education. And as he explained in the beginning, it is a symbolic walk where we are asking all the community to walk 3 kilometers in support of those children who walk from 3 to 6 kilometers on daily basis to go to their schools. So it's very important to give that experience and also support the cause that we are facing. Other community engagement activities is Volunteer Emirates, where we go to non-profit schools within the UAE, either support them with the infrastructure by giving them, for example, tables, chairs, or paint their walls in terms of to make it more educational murals. We do sometimes summer camps. We do a lot of activities with the people of determination, and also we assemble some school bags for the children to prepare them for the new academic year. Globally, we have an initiative called Volunteer Globally, which is where we select a few members here from the local community in the UAE from different sectors, and we travel to one of the countries and try to lay down the foundation of a school. With a one-week mission in these countries, we try to go and build a school and the foundation for that school. That's it in a nutshell about Dubai Cares and our activities. So thank you so much for your listening. And we like always to conclude our presentation with this picture of a kid from Bangladesh. He is holding a picture from back in 2007 when we launched Dubai Cares, and he wrote with his handwriting, "To my role model, Sheikh Mohammed, thank you for giving me the opportunity of education. And after 10 years of operation and our 10th anniversary, we went back again to Bangladesh and we funded it again. And he also thanked him with a video message to His Highness, and it was aired during our 3rd anniversary. And that was one of the biggest return of investment that we had achieved within Dubai Cares, and knowing that we have made a difference in those lives, and the story of Dubai Cares shall continue with the same manner. Thank you so much for listening. Mr. Zuhair, thank you so much. I'm done with my presentation.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was very inspiring, very short, and very impactful. We would surely like to take questions. So to the participants, I would request all of you to post your questions on the Q&A tab, and we'll take your questions. And Mr. Abdullah will be more than happy to answer your questions. The end note was really touching, Mr. Abdullah. So we're very curious to know, not necessarily know his name, but was that picture, like when you said 10th anniversary, how many years before was that?
10 years. 10th anniversary was back in 2017.
So 17. So what's happened to him in 2020? Where is he now? We're very curious. I'm sure the others.
I don't know, honestly.
Like, are you in touch with him?
Our programs team are in touch with him.
Okay.
I'm sure on that one.
All right. Yeah, but it'll be a very good story, and I'm sure that's just one of them that you're showing, and there are many more, hundreds or thousands of stories like that too.
Of course.
Yeah. So I would request the audience, if you have any questions, you can ask. Mr. Abdullah, meanwhile, while I take the questions from them, we would also, like to hear a little more about your personal journey through Dubai Cares. Like I'm sure there are a lot of touching moments, those that you can share with us. How your journey as a leader has been, not only with Dubai Cares, even before, because we'll have a lot of our undergraduate, postgraduate students also attending this webinar. So some leadership lessons to take from you, some inspiring milestones in your career, in your life.
Honestly, Mr. Zuhair, as you have presented my portfolio in the beginning, I am a graduate of electrical engineering. So it is completely different than what I'm doing now. But I was so lucky that I started with that background experience, and I worked in an oil company where I utilized all those technical background as well. But in the same time, it gave me a lot of management skills as well. And since we were handling a lot of projects, our eyes was kept on those management skills. And I have moved my career to focus more on project management skills, which I believe is really important. It has all this technical aspect, the business aspect, is the financial aspects of it as well. When you hold the programs, you focus on different sectors of it, not only the technical part of it, but also the financial. You have to make sure that the budget is there and set and stone. You have to make sure everything is delivered on time. So there's a lot of management skills when it comes to business management skills. And when I moved from oil company to a construction company, which is Dubai Properties, it's the developing countries, I learned a lot about project management when it comes to strategic planning, because we were a developers, and a developer is more about planning rather than an actual construction, which was led by a construction company. So that gave me a lot of planning and management skills. And during my turnover in Dubai Properties has been escalated to a senior role in terms of the project management and development and milestone planning as well. So I was focusing more about the bigger picture in terms of delivery of those units. When should we start the construction? When do we start the commissioning, everything, and also report those to our senior management. And I moved to Dubai Cares by a coincidence when my colleague had invited me to work with Dubai Cares and said, there's an opportunity for Dubai Cares, would you like to work on it? I said, okay, why not? Let me do something good for myself and also get paid out of it, because it's a charity. It's a charity organization. and it's an opportunity I will not find it somewhere else. So I said, why not?
But I'm sure it's not easy giving up a corporate career and taking a philanthropic journey.
Of course, and especially within our community, working in a charity school in a charity organization is not very popular when it comes to local working in, in an organization like this, and for us, there's no definition of development organization. That's always charity or crisis management company as well, or organization. So it was a challenge for my family to accept that I'm going to work in a charity organization. But in the same time, I accepted that challenge and I moved within Dubai Cares with a very junior post, to be honest. It was an assistant project manager. And I said, it's okay. I want to start on this career because I love it. And when I started, I was having like a 4-year span of career in Dubai Properties. Then I said, in Dubai Cares, then I said, I might move to another organization. But here I'm now more than 12 years in Dubai Cares. And I escalated from, started my journey, my career within Dubai Cares in a very junior post, assistant project manager. Then I grew within the fundraising department at that point of time, where campaign department. It was a very dynamic section where we have new ideas, new campaigns that we have launched. We have to launch in the UAE to raise funds to support our activities. And I moved in that career growth until I reached the deputy director of the fundraising department. And there is another opportunity came within the business support department where the ex-director has resigned. And I saw it an opportunity and as a new challenge. So I went to my CEO and I told him, Dr. Tariq Al-Gurd, I'm really thankful for this guy who had trust in me in terms of managing the department with no experience in operation. He said, if your heart is on it, then I will give you the title. So he immediately appointed me as a director of business support, and I took the department for 3 years. And here I am the chief operating officer of Dubai Cares. After I getting more, now I'm handling the communication department, community engagement department, fundraising department, in addition to the operations, which is the backbone of the organization, the procurement. So my suggestion to the team who are listening or watching us here, you never know where you will land. So take every single opportunity, and you never say that I learned something in the college which I'm not going to be utilizing in the future. Until now, I am working as in the operation. I still have that my electrical or technical background of electronics, which I can apply it now when it comes to operation, because we're handling also the maintenance of the organization. So I'm very thankful for all the journeys and the experience that I have taken throughout my employment and my career growth. And advice for everybody: take every single opportunity that you see.
Sure, thank you. I have a few questions from the audience as well. Thank you, Mr. Abdullah. I think the key word there was, as long as you can put your heart on it and take the right opportunities at the right time. The first question, I can't see the name, unfortunately, but the question is, how do you select the country in which you operate in or act in? How do you select the country?
It depends on the situation. Some of the time, it's always mainly from the International Humanitarian Index, which is really under the UN, where we see where are the needs of those countries. And now, currently, when we are working a lot with the education emergency, mainly it's driven from the conflicts or emergency that we have been developed, like the Rohingya in Bangladesh or the Syrian refugee, which we have done a lot of programs across the globe related to the refugees, either from a natural crisis or internal displacement or instability. So basically, it's driven from the need of those programs. Sometimes we receive requests from countries as well. Countries come to us and approach us saying that we have a need in such an area, and we send our team, our programs team, to go and evaluate those countries.
Thank you. We have a question from Arojit. What is the contribution of Dubai Cares towards special education? I assume it is children with special needs, and how we can emerge ourselves in it. I mean, how as an individual, we can help. I think he's asking a very specific question on, do you contribute towards special needs or special education, and how can anybody be part of it if they want to contribute?
Of course, people with determination is a very close to our hearts as Dubai Cares, and we have launched now since 2 years a volunteer Emirates initiative in support of people with determination, along with the Special Needs Center in Dubai, which is the Census Special Needs Center, where we provide them with volunteers. There was a need of volunteers who can come and support the students of that center, even with some basic activities or helping the staff of that center. So we organized, like, for the past 2 years, more than 20 initiatives where we call the volunteers to come and help us in interacting with those people with determination. And it is something very much touching to the heart, because you are fulfilling your need, and also it is a good opportunity for those students in the center who are not only coming there to get learning, but they are also, most of them are staying in the center. So it's good to have that new interactive with different type of community members, in terms of even chatting with them, helping with them, playing with them. It's a different scenery for them. They're new people. It's improving their relationship and communication. So people who would like to help us in that opportunity, they sign up on volunteer.ae as a volunteer. And whenever there is an opportunity, we launch those volunteering opportunity. And because of currently COVID-19 situation, and because we are very much concerned about the student of the center, this specific initiative has been put on hold until the situation allow us to go back again. But please go and register online so you can have your name in the database. And also, whenever we have an opportunity, we will shoot the emails again, and you can register, hopefully.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, that's about it. So anybody interested to be a volunteer, go to the Dubai Case website and register yourself there, and you may be one of them who will volunteer soon. Next question is from Rohit. I would like to know the details on support that Dubai Case has provided in India, and I assume Rohit is from India, and also how we can contribute to this effort.
We have one of our large programmatic intervention in India, and it was back in 2007 when we started Dubai Cares. But actually, one of our largest deworming programs is running in India, and we have dewormed more than 40 million Indian children with the deworming bills, along with our partners there in India. So we have different activities and different programs in India, and all these details are available on our website, dubaicares.ae. We have launched recently a new website, which is very informative. You just go to the website, select the country, and all the details will be available in terms of number of beneficiaries, programs, and countries as well, on India as well.
Next question. Thank you, Mr. Abdullah. Next question is from Vasanta. I would like to hear, I think it's a very question on ethics. I would like to hear what is the involvement done by Dubai Cares against child laborers in garments industries of Bangladesh. I don't know to what extent it's relevant, but in case you have come across or take up issues like how child labor in garments industries of Bangladesh or issues like that is addressed by Dubai Cares.
We are an advocate of children's role is good education, and the children, and when in our terms, children education is from the year of 4 years old until 21 years old, and this is the definition of international definition of children education, and we focus a lot on that. And what we do as Dubai Cares is always advocate and run campaigns within the community. We go and reach also to the smallest community in terms of teaching the parents and the family the importance of education, not sending their children to the market or doing any labor work. It's very important that we as Dubai Cares spread that message across all our platforms. And of course, child labor is something that we Dubai Cares do not support whatsoever, and we always advocate for it internationally as well. So it's very important for everybody. We go down to the parents, we go down to the local community, to the local authorities, and trying to voice out our concern when it comes to the importance of taking kids to the school rather than working anywhere.
Thank you. We have a question from Ravi Pereira. Is there any criteria used to select a country for the education uplifting program, which you have answered earlier? And what personally motivates you to be in Dubai Case program? I think partly you have answered that earlier, but yeah, we would love to hear again.
I would say just the impact when you feel the impact that you do with those live, either locally or international. This is one of the most motivational things that keep me going with Dubai Cares. Whenever I know that day which I go and volunteer in a local school here in the UAE, which is non-profit school, and help with as simple as fixing a new chair for them. I know that tomorrow a new student will come and see a new desk or chair. That's something motivating me, keeping me going. When I go internationally, when I wear the Bikers T-shirt or cap and I go to a country, and everybody is like so much welcoming and so much. Trusting the organization that they are doing an impact and hearing those stories from the field, it's always keep me going and making sure that I did an impact in this community, and this is keeping me going. I'll give you an example of Senegal. I went with a group of volunteers with the bikers, and in Senegal there was an issue of women should stay at home, cook, and take care of the kids. But since our program is always gender equality, even the volunteers that we select, it should be a balance of 50-50. So we have 50 girls and 50 men's volunteers with us. So one of the local lady, one of our volunteers were tying the bars by herself. And another woman from the local community came to her and she said, can I help you? She said, of course, by all means, you can help me. And in that community, the girls or the women were only taking the sand from a place to another place, but they were never been involved in tying bars or carrying metals from a place to place or doing an actual construction. But because they have saw a lady volunteer doing it, she said, "Why I can't do it? I can do it as well." So she helped the volunteers tying the bar. And next day, we saw the majority of the women of the community wanted to help with the rebar, not only with just carrying the sand from and to. So this is the type of impact that you wanted to do in the community, where you see a real life impact that you touch life in this one. So when we left, we have been told that everybody now has learned the importance not only for volunteers to come and help, but also to be a role model for them to build their country. And another example from the field as well. We have been always, whenever we reach any village, we have been welcomed by the local authorities, and we told them that we are not here for long. You have to sustain everybody that the place that you sell. And the chief of the village, he stood up and he said, "Do you see those team coming from Dubai Cares helping? Those are a bunch of expert coming from Dubai all the way here to help you locally. So we want you as a local community to be one day on their place. So we want you to come back, and after you complete your education in those schools, to come back here and build your own school." So this type of speeches, this type of impact that you leave without doing anything, without any awareness or publicism or any effort, this is what keeps me going in the organization. When you feel the impact that you do with this life and changing their future, hopefully.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, I think we talked about this before, but I would like to share that again. Our experience, like our Westford students and staff participating in the Walk for Education Dubai Cares flagship program over the last 7 years, I think it's been inspiring every year, right? Like you can see the level of interest going up and the awareness going up, and every year we if I recall the latest one, the one in February 2020 or January or February, yeah, we had this, reporting to the venue at 7 a.m. in the morning, but our volunteers, they start as early as 5 a.m. in the morning. They come here, they prepare for the banners, the placards, the food packets. They're all excited, and a lot of them, because they know spending a very valuable holiday. For some of them, for some of the students who work, that's their only holiday in the week, and they're still able to start at 5 a.m. in the morning and be part of this event. It's not just because it's fun and good gathering, but it's also to be part of that cause, right? So yeah, and we have seen that not only among our students and staff who participate, among the other thousands of people who they're all charged up, excited. I think you're doing a great job. Uh, and thank you again, Dubai Case. I'll take the next question from Jermaine. Are there any sustainability specific activities by Dubai Case?
Of course, as I mentioned before in the beginning, sustaining our program is very important. We are in each country for a period of 1 to 3 years maximum, and then we are leaving. So it's very important to build the capacity of the local community there to able to sustain the program that we are doing, and also making sure that internationally or the local community and the government are aware of our programs and supporting it. It's very important that all our project has been given the green light from the government and in line with their agenda as well in terms of their international or the local agenda as well. I'm going to give you an example of the local of the sustaining of our program is the teacher training, for example. Teacher training, what we do is what motto we are using is train the trainer. So what we go to the government authorities, we teach them and train them, and then we ask those teachers from the local government to go and train the other teachers in the other villages as well. So with that, we can achieve the reach to different type of the community areas, and also at the same time, we are building the capacity of those teachers to be a trainer in the future as well. So when we leave, they have everything with them, so they can take care of training the new teachers coming in the future as well.
Thank you. Just curious, how does it look like during the pandemic now? I mean, the COVID-19 triggered pandemic that we're going through. So how has it, one, impacted your regular activities? Two, what are the new things in this context that you're planning and your vision is like post-pandemic? How are things going to change with the way Dubai Case would operate during the pandemic? How has it impacted your projects, your activities? What is the contingency plans you have had? What lessons do we have to learn from that, from Dubai Case?
Pandemic has affected everybody. And, as I mentioned before, there's 1 billion students has been affected with the pandemic in 109 countries, and UAE was one of the countries that have been affected by the pandemic. But the key point is being there and quickly responded to the pandemic. Here in the UAE, when the schools were closed, we immediately shift to the online learning, and we did not close the school because the company were quickly responded to the pandemic, and we had the opportunity of infrastructure will allow us to continue with the online learning. The case was not similar with other countries, so we're working with the countries that we are operating in terms of finding new and innovative ideas of continuing their learning as well. So what we have learned from this pandemic is to be quick, responsive, and also be ready for all the scenarios available. Our programs has been slowed down because we operate in schools, and those schools has been closed due to the pandemic because of the safety of the students as well. So we are now revising all our programs, and some of the countries we're still continuing doing the programs depending on the country as well. So we are evaluating every single program now and see what are the things has been affected with the programs and how can we support them in terms of finding innovative ideas or new ideas. And we do that through the platform which I mentioned earlier, the coalition, the Giga project, and also the passport qualification project that we do. So we are a member on a lot of international platform where we exchange those information together and see where we can do the best and most efficient way that we can recover what has been lost already within the education sector.
Thank you. So if there are any other questions, we have another 8 minutes to take a few more questions. Mr. Abdullah, I'm sure when we hosted you 2 years ago for the Walk for Education event, and from that, for the last 3 years, this has been a regular looking forward to kind of activity or event in Westford. Like we have hosted you and other guests as well. Every year now, on the occasion of Walk for Education, we conduct a poster competition, and the theme is Walk for Education. I know, I'm sure you have seen some of the work when you visited here and you judged the best three uh, posters. So that's been an annual thing, and every year we come up with new things that we can do. Like for example, uh, we I mean choreographers and dancers, they build programs during the event to do. It's very exciting. But would you and many of our students have also shown interest to be volunteers, and you have answered that question. We need to register and be volunteers. Our students, by the way, not with Dubai case, but they have been to volunteering trip to India, to Indonesia, and in multiple projects like floods and orphanages. And so not only locally but internationally, our students have been on volunteering trips. So surely going with Dubai case will also be one of our aspirations. But is there any tips that you want to give our students? Like especially our undergrad students, yeah, working MBA students, they're busy with their careers and all that, but they would also love to be part of this. But is there, based on your experience seeing us interacting with our students, is there anything specifically you want us to be focusing on, learning from, to be part of Dubai case in whatever ways we can?
Listen, Mr. Zuhair, I always like to see opportunities in any pandemic or any emergency. And Alhamdulillah, with this pandemic, give us an opportunity for something that we were been planning for it long time ago, but it hasn't been fulfilled because of many reasons, which is online volunteering. Online volunteering and virtual volunteering is something that has been very hard within the UAE. And this was fulfilling a gap within the community where a lot of people who are busy with their work or study, they are not able to commit to a certain day or a certain timing to do a volunteering activity. So now with those virtual volunteering, they can help at any time they want it. It's over the phone or the online. So this is something that I would encourage everybody to look at it, virtual volunteering. And also it gives us the opportunity of having skilled volunteering as well within this. A lot of specialized skilled volunteers like doctors or psychiatrists who had been supporting during the pandemic had also been very much a focus of the country, of everybody who would like to help in any way or another. He wanted to give an opportunity of his skills to the public. They do the virtual training and virtual e-learning as well, or virtual volunteering as well. So keep an eye on those platforms, which is online platform, and also online learning. There is a lot of institutes which open their training material online free of cost for everybody to get used for it and also benefit from it. So this is something as well. I encourage my team, myself, to go and look for online learning, online training, just to make sure that they can still build their own capacity and make an opportunity, because of all these institutes, international ones, have provided such great materials for everybody to come and learn from it as well.
Thank you. I think we'll take one last question. We have a question from Sehel. In fact, there's one more question, but I think that has been a repetition. It has been asked before, which is how do you take, how does Dubai case contribute towards eco-friendly and green initiatives? If you want to add something, Mr. Abdullah, you can. But the other question that Sahel has asked is, what will be the role of Dubai case in the recovery? During pandemic, a lot of, as you said, everybody is going through this pandemic and facing challenges. So what would Dubai case role be in the recovery as the pandemic has affected all of us? Recovery in the sense, including how to cope with the current mental stress, a lot of frustrations, a lot of uncertainties. Is there a specific role that Dubai case will play to address this as well?
When it comes to recovery here for the UAE, for example, I'm going to give an example of a campaign that we have launched back in Ramadan, which was Education Uninterrupted. Education Uninterrupted was a campaign that we launched before Ramadan, actually, to support the local families here and the families within the UAE who have are short of devices to continue with their online learning. So there were a lot of families who wanted to continue online learning, but they were lacking of devices. So we had launched Education Uninterrupted with a target of 40,000 devices to be collected and distributed locally here. And we are continuing this effort. It was a campaign, but we are still ongoing as a campaign to do a recovery for the community here and provide access to their education as well by providing devices for them. Internationally, we have been very flexible when it comes to revising our programs and trying to find a new innovative solution, giving them new ideas and new initiatives as well in terms of giving education to them. Also internationally, we are rallying the international community when it comes to connectivity piece of it. We are on an international platform trying to help and support and advocate for the importance of connectivity as well and recovery of the students. And when it comes to psycho and social support as well, this is something has been introduced recently in most of our programs that we always have to support our beneficiaries with psycho support as well to overcome any trauma or pandemic that has been affected with COVID-19.
Thank you. One of the question was, it's not for you, Mr. Abdullah, it is, can we watch this webinar again? Yes, Mariam, surely you can. And Sher Ali, yes, you can. We have a live stream on Facebook as well. That link can be shared, or the recorded session also can be shared with you. Thank you very much, Mr. Abdullah, for your very valuable time and inspiring thoughts and presentation. We all salute the great work that you and your team and the entire organization is doing for a very noble cause. And we hope and pray that you continue to do this good work, and there is blessings from all of us, prayers from all of us and from the Almighty for you to continue doing this great work. And as usual, we are looking forward to be part of this noble family, and we'll always be there to grab any opportunity that comes our way from Dubai Cares, and looking forward to the Walk for Education next year. We don't know yet if it's going to be virtual or an actual walk, but whatever it is, we take it, and we'll be part of Dubai Cares flagship program, Walk for Education, and any other opportunities that come our way. Thank you very much for your time, for your very valuable time that you spared with us. And we hope to see you soon and also be part of the Dubai Cares as usual. Thank you. Thank you on behalf of the entire Westford University College family, our students, our management, our employees, our staff, my colleagues, everyone out here who have participated and have not been able to be here. See, some of them are also on the Facebook live stream, so they're not asking their questions here, but they're listening to you on Facebook as well. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for everybody. Thank you for Westford University, the students, the volunteers for supporting the Dubai Cares. And we are available also to answer any question. If you have more questions coming on live on Facebook Live, you can email it to us, and we will be sure answering every single question.
Sure. Thank you. Pleasure. Thank you so much. Have a great day. God bless.